This is a step-by-step guide on how to build your own kitchen cabinets. Whenever you decide to build a full kitchen or just a couple of cabinets, you immediately encounter a problem and you realize it's a big task and it's not very accessible. Building a kitchen can be very expensive, time-consuming and complex. And the solution to this problem is DIY or do it yourself, because the trades can be very expensive, trades being the biggest part of the cost. You learn new skills, you exercise with purpose, you increase the value of your home, you get exactly what you want, you have the satisfaction of building it with your own hands. I have to mention right from the beginning, this is a video that's not meant for professionals, but simple people with limited resources. And you don't need much to build this. You don't need a workshop, you don't need experience. As I said, you don't need expensive machines or tools. Everybody can do this in their own kitchen, living room, or porch or backyard. A small space will suffice in your home, and some basic tools are needed only. In order to achieve a cost-effective way and an easy way to build this, I started with two assumptions. Number one, the build style. So this is a very easy, simple and accessible build style meant for everyone, for which I prepared actually a downloadable guide. And the second assumption is supplies. Everything must be available at your local DIY retailer, be it Home Depot or Lowe's in US, or Leroy Merlin or Obi in Europe, or Kingfisher in the United Kingdom. This guide is available in the description section. I have a link for you there. And it is specific for this cabinet, but more are coming. For this, please subscribe, like, and share this video. All right. So this particular cabinet, it is a based cabinet. How is it called in US? With one door. The same technique applies for the other side door, like the right hinge. This is a left hinge door, as you can see. And the size, a pretty standard size, would be 18 inches wide by 35 and a half high by 24 inches deep. Again, all the details on how to build this step by step with written instructions and with dimensions and bill of materials and the sizes for the panels and all that. It's available in the guide in the description section. Please follow that link. And this is just a quick video introduction to that guide. Okay, so this is an assembly for this cabinet. All the kitchen cabinets are basically made from two basic categories. So one category will be the accessories, which are the handle and for instance the legs, also the hinges, and they basically connect the door to the main body. And the second part is the main body itself, which is an assembly of panels, which are not supposed to be taken apart after they're assembled. They can be, because everything is based on screws here, but it's considered to be a permanent assembly. So the first thing would be to actually, let's explore this, to actually build this cabinet. And in order to do this, you will need all these panels that are shown in explosion here on the screen right now. So you will need like a right panel, a left panel, a door, a bottom panel, a shelf inside, two top rails to keep everything together and to connect to the countertop, and two back rails to provide rigidity and connection to the wall if needed, as well as a very thin, usually 1/8 inch high-density fiberboard panel at the back. Okay, so in order to start with the building process of this cabinet, you will start with a side panel. And all these panels, you can get them cut to size from the same DIY retailer that you have nearby. Usually they offer this service. Just make a call and make sure that they have it. They usually do, and they will cut everything that you need for you to size. So before you start anything, the recommendation would be to apply on each panel the edge band on all the exposed edges. In this particular case, exposed edges would be the front right here, also the front of this rail, the front of this bottom panel, and if you make your door yourself, also all the sides of the door, right? If we collapse this back, it's gonna be easier seen. So whichever edge you see it, that has to be covered with an edge band. It's easier to do it when the panels are individual and not inside an assembly. The top doesn't need to be edge banded because on top is gonna be a countertop. So as I said, the first step would be to drill the shelf holes. In order to do that, you have all the dimensions in the guide that I provided in the description. You need to drill these 2 holes. After that, would be necessary to install the bottom panel. This is assembled using three screws, like the special screws. For this, you will need to pre-drill the holes through both panels, through this panel and also that panels. I'm going to show you transparency so you can see. Very important here is that you drill straight in the middle of the bottom panel so you don't pierce the top or the bottom. Again, precise dimensions, positions and all that, everything can be found in the guide. The next step would be to assemble the top rails. These provide rigidity and also connection point to the counter on the top. Don't forget, this is the normal position of the cabinet. Then we'll be assembling the other side everywhere. So the top rails, pre-drilling these two holes for 2 screws for each of the rails, and also 3 holes for the bottom panel. Now these holes, they can be drilled with a special tool. Have in the guide all that you need to know about it. It's a special drill with a cutting head, drill bit with a cutting head that will make this chamfer for you, and also will be the proper diameter and long enough to go through both panels, and suitable for the screws that are recommended in the same guide. So please use that bit to pre-drill, and then you drive the screws inside these panels. This is a very, very important thing. Now, after assembling all these panels, the next step would be to assemble the back rails, like the top one and also the bottom one. These are used to provide further rigidity to the cabinet. So the cabinet doesn't flex and is very, very strong. Important thing here is to make sure this rail is flush with this panels at the back, and also sits on top of this one, right on this edge. Same thing for the top rail, must be flush, and also must sit exactly on this panel here. It's worth mentioning that also these 2 rails on the top, they have to be flush with the panels. Okay, after doing this, you would turn the cabinet face down, and you will attach the high density fiberboard at the back using nails. So in this case, you don't need any kind of screws and pre-drilled holes. You just drive nails 1 nail for every 2 or 3 inches all the way around. Okay, and this pretty much concludes the assembly of the cabinet body itself, which is not supposed to be taken apart. And this is the main part of the cabinet. Now we're going to switch to the assembly, and you will see in this case the fact that you have to assemble a door, you have to assemble a handle, you have to assemble a hinge, and also the legs. When you get the cabinet in this phase, the first thing to do would be to attach the legs. So you get the box that you assembled in previous steps, you turn the box upside down, and you fasten these 4 legs to the bottom of the cabinet. Now the distance from the front of this leg to the front of the cabinet is important, because this will give you the distance of the toe kick inset under the cabinets. Also, it's very important to use this kind of legs with this tab here, and this tab has to go all the way to be tangent to the sides of the cabinet. So they support this edge. If you don't use this kind of legs with the tabs, or you don't place this tab under this edge here, when you place like a lot of weight on this cabinet, then this bottom panel actually can break. So that's a very important step to follow. So every leg is assembled using, let me see if I have a proper view here. Yeah, so every leg basically is assembled using 4 screws, one here, one here, one here, and one here. And those screws are also provided in the guides, and they should be the 5/8 or 60 millimeters long, so you don't pierce the bottom panel. After you finish assembling the legs to the body, then the next step would be to attach the door to the cabinet. In order to do this, you will need to lay the cabinet down on a side, just like this. Bring the door next to the cabinet, and first of all, you fasten the hinge to the door. So the door has a special 35 millimeters hole in it that has to be precisely positioned relative to this edge in order to work with this kind of hinges. What kind of hinges you need to use, all the details in the guide, what's exactly the dimension, the position of the hole relative to the edge, again in the guide, the depth of this hole, the tool used for this hole, everything you will find it in the guide. So yeah, you're gonna use the 5/8 screws to fasten this here. First, both hinges, make sure when you fasten them that they are parallel with this edge. That's a very important thing. After you finish fastening here, then you get the door close to the cabinet, and you keep a gap of around 1/8 of an inch. That's also very important. And fasten in the same position that I showed you before. You fasten the hinge to the cabinet this time, right? Both hinges. Okay, that is important. After attaching the door to the cabinet, you can stand the cabinet up, and the next step would be to assemble the handle. The handle comes with 2 metric screws that you would drive them from the back of the door through the door into the handle. Okay, Now again, the size of these holes, the position of these holes, and all that, it's all the details you will find them in the guide. And the screws are provided usually by the handle vendor. Okay. Now I mentioned regarding this door. This door you can actually buy it yourself from a door-specific vendor that they sell MDF doors, which are painted or wrapped in a foil. Usually if you ask them, they will make these holes for you for the hinges and for the handle. If you give them the proper dimension. If not, you can make these holes for yourself, not a problem. All the details you need are in the guide. Okay, so after installing the handle on the door and the door on the cabinet, you take the door down to ease your installation process. If you're going to use the hinges I recommended in the guide, they are easy clip hinges. You're going to unclip them from the end. The door comes easily down. After you finish installation, you're going to clip them back. If not, no worries. You can unscrew these hinges using these two screws and screw them back after you are done. So the next step would be to actually install and position the cabinet. So you remove the door. You're gonna remove the door. You're gonna remove also the shelf. You don't need the shelf at this stage. The thing you have to do in this stage is to adjust the leg height, so you get the height that you desire, and also you compensate for the floor irregularities, and make sure the cabinet is horizontal. Okay. Also in this stage, if you want, you can fasten the cabinet to the wall using all these 4 screws. I provided details in the guide, or just 2 at the top or none of them. Doesn't really matter, the cabinet won't go anywhere. Now, for the last step of the installation would be to attach the door back, would be to add the shelf back, would be to cover all these screw heads that we have now on the right side and on the left side, if they bother you, with the screw caps that I provided. They don't personally bother me, so I just leave them there, and moreover, you might not be even able to see them because on the left and on the right might be other cabinets covering the sides. Also, after doing all this fastening and installation, the last thing would be to add the countertop on top of this cabinet. You would fasten this with screws if you want. Again, you don't have to, but you can. And of course, adding the kick plate at the bottom. The kick plate comes with the proper size. You need to make sure that you have ordered something that matches these legs, which in this particular case is 4.5 inches. Okay, and they attach using these clips. So these clips, they have a part that fastens to the back of the kick plate, and then it slides inside this clip, and the clip clips to the leg, of course. And this is pretty much it. Please leave a comment. Please also go and see the downloadable guide in the description section. You have the link there. The guide has everything that you need to build this cabinet, all the tools you need with exact screenshots from Home Depot, all the hardware, the screws, all the materials, all the dimensions that you need. You're also going to have a cut list with the boards you need precisely dimensioned, a step-by-step guide with 3D drawings and notes on how to build this cabinet. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share, and don't forget to visit my link with the downloadable guide.